Shalom Aleichem Leharman Yovi Ezra Mimadino Yosef my Bazalitin Amidragla Khalian Shemrach Elian Milishim Shem Israel Adu Shemrach Elitzil Khaliad Minacha Yoim Mashem Shlo Yakek Kavir Baloila Adonish Bachim Kolro Yishmer Ez Nafshech Adonish Vatzesur Yachol Matov Yad Oilam. My dear friends, take some money to put in tzedakah and tefillah, tzedakah and Torah is what it's all about. Now, if you're wondering about the background, indeed, I'm not in my usual quote-unquote studio. I actually came for Shabbos Bereshis to the Rebbe in honor of Shnas Hakil, since I couldn't be here on Yom Tov because I had to be in Chabad House at work on my shlichus. So today I came for Shabbos Bereshis, which the Rebbe always used to include into still an integral part of Tishrei. So let me share with you a little thought related to the parsha of this week, and it's a question that everybody asks themselves. God created Adam on Friday. 3 hours before the onset of Shabbat, he told them, don't eat from the Eitz Hadas, from the fruit of knowledge. On Shabbat, you'll be able to eat it. So there was a total of 3 hours that Adam was asked to refrain himself, to control himself, to discipline himself, eat everything else except for this. Yet, amazingly, the one who God created, the one who hears the message directly from God, couldn't resist. He couldn't wait a few more minutes. Even a little baby, when he's told you're going to get it soon, relaxes. What happened to Adam that he committed such a cardinal sin and affected mankind since, with its ramification all the way till Moshiach? For just a few moments he couldn't control himself? What is the logic? So the Rebbe points out here an extremely important point. Indeed, the more important the issue, the more difficult the challenge. We all have a Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. This fellow, this evil inclination, his task is one: divert us from following God's commands, whatever it is, and particularly when it's a very serious one. So the Yetzer Hara, here in the story in the form of a snake, came up with all kinds of enticing arguments and proofs. You see, you're not supposed to touch it. You touched it, nothing happened. So when you're going to eat it, nothing will happen either. And again, God doesn't want you to become so great. And you should become great. You should strive for greatness even when you're not asked for it. All the emotional, intellectual arguments that Yetzer Hara can throw at you. And indeed, unfortunately, Adam succumbed. That's a message for us to realize. Whatever the issue is, the Yetzer Hara will make sure that we break that command. And that's a very interesting response to many who argue. You know, Torah has 630 mitzvahs. If Judaism would be a little bit more flexible, if Judaism would be less quote-unquote imposing with all those commandments, just a few, everybody would be religious. Everybody would be following. And that's why you have movements as such, unfortunately, that decide, to do away with certain things of Judaism so that it would be easier and then everybody will follow. The answer is right here in the beginning of the Torah story. There was only one commandment. One commandment for a few minutes, and Adam couldn't resist. If one thinks that by taking off from Judaism, by making Torah light, and I don't mean light in terms of light, shining, but lighter, less, as they say, cumbersome, less demanding, then everybody would do it. The answer is no. And why? Because the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, is out to get us, even when it is just a single mitzvah, even when it's just a one act. If we can overcome one, we can overcome them all. If you can overcome them all, we won't be able to overcome even one. So that's the message, and that's why the Torah tells us this story. And this is our journey. The constant battle between good and evil. The constant battle between right and wrong. And we always have to be on the side of the right and make sure that we do the right thing. And the right thing is what? Follow God's commands, follow Torah mitzvahs. And this which was originally intended for Adam Rishon to be in Gan Eden, to be the world of perfection, to be the world of Mashiach, which is actually in the second verse of the Pasuk, the Spirit of God is hovering, but this is the Spirit of Mashiach. So now after 5,783 years of battle, the Yetzer Hara, we're ready to enter the Beis HaMikdash. And please God, do so now.